Underestimating Linnet Deily's abilities is a huge mistake. She's an international banking and trade expert who can also needlepoint a perfect basket weave stitch. Throughout her life, she shrugged off challenges and found a way to succeed. Born in Dallas in 1945, Linnet Frazier grew up on a farm near McKinney. One of her favorite memories is spending summers at camp in North Texas.
There was a campfire camp up near Wichita Falls. And when I look at pictures now, with due respect to the citizens of Wichita Falls, it looks a little dusty, but it was heaven as far as I was concerned.
Linnet was a good student, but it took a boyfriend to lure her from Baylor to UT Austin her sophomore year. That love didn't last, but the one for her new university did. At UT, she often attended guest lectures like those of JFK's speechwriter Ted Sorensen and Truman Capote, who read aloud from one of his books.
Every week there was somebody extraordinary coming to campus, and I took advantage of that every time I had the chance.
Linnet earned her government degree in 1967 and tried to get into an executive training program, but none were accepting women. So she found a job as a social worker for the state of Texas and took night classes to get her master's in international management at UT Dallas. That led to a summer job at Republic Bank of Dallas, where Linnet found her calling.
I asked a new friend, what did they call the person that ran the bank? And they told me the president, and I said, I wanted to do that. And they laughed and said, you can't do that. And I said, why not? And they said, because you're a woman. And I just smiled.
Linnet had confidence, and the bank recognized her talent. Eventually, she advanced to Senior VP of International Management.
I rolled into a management job, and I had the chance to develop and build a team together and set goals and then see what we can do. I'm very competitive, so I like to win. I like to do well, and the bank did.
She also met her husband, Mike Deily, while working at Republic Bank. In 1988, Linnet became president and CEO of First Interstate Bank of Texas in Houston. This life member of the Texas Exes spent 2 years on the UT Board of Regents before stepping down to become president of the Charles Schwab Retail Group and later vice chairman. At one point, she oversaw the firm's industry-leading launch of online trading services. In 2001, President Bush nominated Linnet Deputy U.S. Trade Representative and Ambassador to the World Trade Organization. On Linnet's second day on the job, the significance of her new position became clear as she spoke to a room full of diplomats.
I tend to believe that you don't talk unless you have something new to say or add to the conversation. But I found there, if we didn't speak, that by itself seemed to be sending a message that taught me metaphorically another way of looking at the power of the United States. Because when I spoke, you could have heard a pin drop in the room.
Linnet lived in Geneva for 4 years using her business background, along with her personal touch, to negotiate trade deals with the rest of the world. Linnet technically retired in 2005, but she's never home in Houston for long. Since her husband Mike passed away in 2006, Linnet continues to be an involved grandmother to their family. She also serves on boards across the country and even in Europe, doing what she does best, interacting with people and making a difference. Tonight, we honor a Texas ex who's rarely faced a challenge she couldn't handle.
It's a terrific school that we all, I think, have a wonderful sense of affection for, and so to have that recognition means something.
Linnet Frazier Deily, a distinguished alumna of the University of Texas at Austin.
Good evening to all. This past summer, Jim Boone, the executive director of Texas Exes, came to see me to tell me about all the activities that would be surrounding this weekend. After he described this evening, he concluded by saying this would be a relaxed and easy evening. And he said, "Linnet, it'll be so easy that no one could possibly mess up anything." Then he stopped and said, "You know, the alumni are escorted out in alphabetical order, and you're going to be the first one. So you could mess up everything." So Jim, here we are, and I'll try and do my best. My husband Mike used to comment that he liked, regardless of where we were living, to come back on campus here at least once a year, and preferably for a sporting event, where the Eyes of Texas would be played. And he said he could just absolutely count on the fact that when that song started, that my eyes would get a little misty. And he said he always knew what the university meant to me just by looking at the expressions on my face. I've thought of his comments several times as we've been preparing for tonight, and I've tried to sort out why the university did have such a remarkable impact on my life. The video is partially correct. I transferred to Texas from Baylor during my sophomore year, but the transfer was generated both by romance, but also by the opportunity to have a broader range of educational experiences in my major field of study, government. Now, coming from small-town Texas, my parents were not overly excited about their youngest daughter coming to what was perceived as the advanced city of Austin. But when I put the two catalogs side by side of the schools and showed them the difference in terms of what I could do in government here, I got their reluctant permission to come to Texas for just one semester. Well, that one semester got extended until graduation, and the excitement that I thought I was going to experience at Texas was exactly what I discovered. Professors like Bill Livingston, who's with us tonight, and Jim Roach were exceptional. Most importantly, I finally understood the sheer joy of learning instead of just performing for grades, which was perhaps the most important lesson of all. But while the academic opportunities were significant, I realized that other influences were equally impactful. When I came to the university, I would sit out on a bench just in front of the tower and watch the world go by. Because having grown up in a small town with little apparent diversity, I loved watching all these strange and interesting people from all over the globe. And the exposure to those cultural differences whetted my appetite for travel and adventure that continues to this day. Likewise, in my classes, the exposure to differing perspectives, generally in an atmosphere of civility, also gave me an enduring recognition of the value of weighing all sides rather than settling on a dogmatic approach to new issues. The video mentions speakers at the Texas Union and the wonderful memory from those unique events. I can still remember Tom Wolfe, then a barely known author who had only written, I think, 1 or 2 books, and it was in fact so unknown that he didn't speak at the Union. He spoke at BEB in a classroom in the middle of an afternoon. Well, when I walked in that classroom and saw Mr. Wolfe in his tan linen suit and spats, I was absolutely nonplussed. And then I was fascinated as he began to lecture. There was so much water coming out of this fire hose of a university, and I wanted to drink as much of that water as I possibly could, and I did. Learning to participate and take advantage of those extraordinary opportunities was a great life lesson. President Powers just announced this new Capitol campaign today, and as he told you tonight, the slogan is, "We change people, they change the world." Well, the University of Texas was a transformational experience for me, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart for that experience and for the honor which they give me tonight. Thank you.